agree with that. I'm going to march on it. They have a fucking charger and have a really smart team just about the meetings and not and see. She's going on, so they know.
We'll call the order Stephenville Town Council meeting agenda for Thursday, June 13th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. Janelle, would you please make the roll call?
Councilmember Barker. Here. Councilmember Brown. Here. Councilmember Nelson.
Here.
Councilmember Smith.
Here.
And Mayor Michelson.
Here. Thank you. Would you please would you please stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll move on to item number 3, public comments. Public comments on anything that's not on the agenda tonight. Leslie Cabot?
Leslie Cabot, 509 Mission Street. As you know, we've had water problems, still haven't gotten fixed. But I want to thank Steve Lassiter and Cody Anderson for coming down. They have done everything they can think of to do down there, and we still don't have water pressure for the front of our house. So I don't know what the next thing is, but I'm so appreciative to these two men for coming down and taking the camera and looking and checking and digging back up. And anyway, we still don't have any solution. We don't have any answers. And I hear they're going to pave on Monday. So I don't know what we're going to do for water in the front yard. So.
Thanks, Leslie.
Uh-huh.
We'll move on. Any more public comments? We'll move to item number 4, approval of minutes. A, special town council meeting minutes of April 18th, 2024.
I move that we approve the minutes for April 18th, 2024.
We have a motion by Mr. Smith. Do we have a second? We have a second by Mr. Nelson. Do we have a discussion by the council? Seeing none, do we have a discussion from the public? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker. Aye. Councilmember Brown. Aye. Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
And Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. Item number B, special town council meeting minutes of May 6, 2024.
I move we make the,
Councilmember Smith.
I move that we accept the minutes of May 6th, 2024.
We have a motion by Mr. Smith. Do we have a second? Seconded by Mr. Nelson. Do we have a discussion by the council on the minutes? Do we have a discussion on the public on the minutes?
I apologize. I actually do have a comment in the form of an apology to the town and to my colleagues for my tardiness. As of late, I will not be reoccurring that. I just wanted to put that forth.
Okay. Just so you know, from now on, if you have to make an apology or anything like that, we save that for council comments.
Oh, okay.
Because this is an agenda item and it has to be, it's a stick right to the agenda
I
item.
apologize.
Just so you know, okay? You didn't know, but just so we know. Okay. Any other comments from the public on the minutes? The council on the minutes? None? Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker. Aye. Councilmember Brown. Aye. Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
And Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
4-0. Thank you. Item number C, Stephenville Budget Workshop minutes of May 30th, 2024. Councilmember
I
Barker.
make a motion to approve Stevensville Budget Workshop minutes, May 30th, 2024.
We have a motion by Councilmember Barker. Do we have a second? We have a second.
I move that we accept.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second by Councilmember Brown. Do we have a discussion from the council? We have a discussion from the public. Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker. Aye. Councilmember Brown.
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
And Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. Item number 5, approval of biweekly claims. Councilmember Barker.
I make a motion to approve biweekly claims number 18999 through 19026, and number 19028, 19040.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
So,
We have a motion, we have a second by Councilmember Smith. Do we have discussion by the council? Councilmember Brown.
So claim number 19003, North Ridge Fire Equipment for $1,123.84, fire department uniforms and a Rayco for $89.99. A question is this replacing uniforms or is this for the new cadets and stuff that we have coming through?
The answer is yes. It is replacing and for new cadets.
Okay, thank you. I also had a question on claim number 19014. I understand what it's for piping going under the railroad tracks. But I see several of the crossings have been pulled. So if that rail is inactive, do we still?
Yes.
Okay.
I brought that up when I was on the council.
Oh.
We have to pay that. It's stupid, but.
I had a question on claim number 19017, Construction Montana LLC, and there was a building inspection. Any of that needs to be invoiced to Berta Farm?
No,
I don't think that's where the.
Okay.
is it 117?
that one is only being paid off of the building report for May.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah, that's the one I had. Okay.
And then claim number 19033 HDR Engineering Inc. for $5392.87. That is for the mission, just the Mission Street, or is that for both Projects?
Just Mission Street, it's the ARPA project.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I also had a question on the, I don't know what claim number it was. It looks like 307-064-6287. River Valley Electric Services for the airport.
Yes.
Is, what's going on up at the airport, I guess my question is that for that gate again?
Yes, it is. That's what that's for. And we get that once a month. It's a charge once a month.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions on the claims from the council? Any questions from the public on the claims? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker? Aye. Councilmember Brown?
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson?
Aye.
And Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. Agenda item number 6, administrative reports. The airport, those not here, building departments in your packet, finance, fire department. Mr. Jeff.
We're here. In the packet, you have the stats for the month of May. 54 requests for service in the month. We were at the end of the month, we were at 273 for date. 205 medical responses. By far and away, the biggest thing we do is medical responses. Got 169 in the district, 95 in the town. We did 9 mutual aids and 7 motor vehicle crashes. So May was fairly busy, and then we had the snow, wind, tree event, power line down, event thing, whatever that was. So that all happened in May, and I think we handled that quite well. We were ready to do it, and it all worked out well. We also did our disbursement, garage sale, yard sale, whatever thing you want to call that. A lot of stuff we have left over, so it's my understanding we're free to dispense of it. However, we can, is that true? Okay. So we'll make that happen and get that bay cleaned up and back in service over there with our stuff. That's really the report that we have from May. Looking forward, we are doing the fireworks extravaganza again, as we have in the past. Again, we like to launch from down at the sewer plant like we have in the past, the same type of thing. I did drop off a flyer, left it over in the office for anybody coming in wanting to know, are we doing it? Yes, we are, and here's an opportunity for you to donate to help offset the expenses. We have different levels of participation all spelled out and all that fun stuff. Yeah, it'd be great if anybody wants to donate, and we have that before the 4th, we'll take it after the 4th, we'll take it all year long. So we just want to be able to continually feed that and fund that. And that's all being done through the associations. It's all 501c3. We can give a receipt for tax donation and all that type of stuff. So it's all in place and ready to go that way. Not heard anything about the picnic. Have no idea what's going on there. Maybe we'll get that the next meeting. I'm pretty sure we can.
So a few more things in there, just double checking, and then I'll meet with Sean, and I believe it's next week. And then that's all we know.
Best way to donate is through the treasurer.
It's spelled out in the little flyer. You can just write your check to the Kinsel Firefighters Association and get it to either Trevor Motley or myself, or Colette upstairs, or in the fire department box, or whatever. We'll get it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Police Department, Mr. Bowles.
Mayor, esteemed colleagues. So before you should have the May stat sheet. We issued about 6 citations and 2 warnings during the month of May for traffic violators and city ordinance violators, which there were 2 of. We physically incarcerated 2 individuals into the Valley County Detention Center during the month of May, and 1 juvenile into the Missoula County Detention Center. Stevensville Police Department responded to 81 calls for service. That's a cumulative total for the month of May. And if you notice down in the stats section, that's a slight uptick from where we've been. We've been mid-50s. So we, and a few of those may be officer initiated. They still count as a call for service. And then lost property, slight uptick in lost property as well. As I'm sure you're aware, we have our new guy on board. He's currently going through the field training program. By the end of the month, we should be working up till our staffing should allow us to work up to about bar closing, 1 o'clock typically. And then in July, when our new guy comes on board, we'll have 3. Then he'll actually go into the field training program as well. So coverage is going to be much better over the next couple months, and it should relieve the county of some of their responsibilities as well. Questions? We didn't have any property damage as a result of work that we performed during the month of May, which is a good thing. No accidents, so pretty good month for us.
Except for the storm.
Well, the storm, but we look good in the paper.
On the property, is that a fancy way of stolen property?
No, it could be anything for example, we've had people call in and say, hey, I was down on the bike path earlier and I saw a bike laying off on the side, and I'll go down and pick it up and put it in our proper evidence. It also generates a call for service or report, and then it gives me the opportunity to utilize our new property and evidence system. So we're kind of working on that, and by the end of the summer, my hope is to have all that squared away as well and be smooth line with that as well.
Well, and you get to meet whoever comes to collect their stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Smart.
Absolutely. Any questions?
Any other questions from the council? Mr. Bowles.
Good month.
Thank you, sir. Public Works, Steve has a wedding tomorrow, so he wasn't able to be here. I don't see our guest here, so I guess we'll move on from him. We'll move on to new business. Item A, discussion decisions. Town council to set a date and time for a Cal meeting to discuss the drug and alcohol policy. So a couple of months ago, Tina and I contacted Derek Shepherd and we went over our drug and alcohol policy that is so outdated and wrong and didn't even want to bring it forward. So, but we have this one that Derek sent us through MMIA. This is the one that he recommended that we use. It's quite comprehensive. It's got a lot into it. And what I'll do is we set a meeting for a Cal meeting. I'll send this to you guys so you can start reviewing it before we get to the Cal meeting so we don't waste a lot of time there. But you'll see once you get into it, there's a lot of good stuff there. So we do need to update it by law. So something we have to do. So with that, could I get a motion?
This one checks out with the MCA.
That's what it
Yeah,
is.
this is there. That's the one that's right there. So with that, could I get a motion? Councilmember Barker.
I make a motion to approve town council to set a date and time for Cal meeting to discuss drug and alcohol policy.
We have a motion by Mrs. Barker. Do we have a second?
A second.
Councilmember Nielsen. We have a motion and we have a second. Do we have a discussion by the council? Councilmember Barker.
We need to set a date and a time.
What works for you all? It's your meeting. We're here next week.
I'm open for next week.
That way we can bring it up at the end of the month and get it done, get it out of here. Next Tuesday or Thursday?
I think if we keep it on Thursdays, it's the easiest.
20th? Can you all make it on the 20th? If you can we do it at 5:30? So it's not so hard on the staff.
So 5:30 to 20th?
Yes. That's what we've been traditionally doing our Cal meetings at.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Okay,
Sounds like a
5:30 next Thursday? You have a motion on that? Okay.
You need a motion?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we,
We still have to vote on the first
Oh,
one.
let's vote on the first one.
Ready?
Yeah.
Councilmember Barker? Aye. Councilmember Brown? Aye. Councilmember Nelson?
Aye.
Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. Now, let's vote on the next Thursday at 5:30. Councilmember Nelson.
I move that we set a Cal meeting to discuss the drug and alcohol policy on the 20th of June, 2024
5:30.
at 5:30.
Do we have a second? We have a second. We
I'll
have a
second the
motion. We have a
motion.
second. Do we have any further discussion from the council? Do we have any discussion from the public on the Cal meeting on the drug and alcohol policy next Thursday? 5:30.
Is our chief gonna be involved with the county meeting for that?
Oh, yeah. Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker? Aye. Councilmember Brown? Aye. Councilmember Nelson?
Aye.
And Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. We'll move on to item number B, discussion decision to move forward with the process to place a parcel of land up for sale that is owned by the town of Stephenville. So as you know, Father Valley Park, it has a location on College Street on Main Street, and it borders the two private properties. The map is included, shows a proposed parcel of Father Valley. The Valley Park, the town should be put up for sale, and I'm sorry, but the orange thing wasn't there, so some people thought we're selling the whole park. That's not true.
No.
It's just that little parcel there where the poles are set up there, where the storage sheds. And the reason this came about is 2.5 years ago, we were approached by Ramona Vance, Cindy Brown, and Stacy and I, when we were all on council, first to do a conditional use permit, because she had one in that very area. That's why the poles were there. And part of that is asphalted by her. And we tried to get that going. For whatever reason, it just didn't get done. And then she approached us. She said, well, what about if I bought it? Because that way I wouldn't have to, I want to do it for my children, and down the road, I would never have to worry about coming back to the town for another conditional use permit. which expires every 10 years. So we said, fine. Well, that didn't happen either. So now that we're here, we're gonna try it this way to see if we can do it. So what we'll do is I ran this through our attorney, and our attorney said that we're doing it the proper way. What we'll do is if we want to sell this parcel of land, we'll have it pinned and surveyed the proper way, right? You talked to him?
I talked to a survey company about that already, the same survey company that checked where our property line was about 3.5 years ago for us, so.
So we would do that, and then what we would do in the next item, once we got your approval on that, we would bring the next item, which we would have to put an RFP out for a realtor. And give everybody a chance, them to come in. Once they come in, then we would advertise it and then take the highest bidder. So. We're helping Ramona out in that land, as you know, is that clump of dirt right there, right off the highway, and a long time ago, right, Cindy, that was a road.
There is an existing approach there.
Existing approach.
Yeah, it used to be where the ice skating ring was years ago.
So what is the council's wish?
So this is just the little piece right on the end, it's not that whole.
You have a map.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, it's just that little piece, right in the end where her,
Yeah, because it is misconceived
Yeah, it's
when you see
misleading.
it, and
Yeah.
it's all as one hit.
So we're talking about as I'm looking at the longer.
that's the other one out there. Councilmember Barker.
I'd like to make a motion to move forward with the process to place a parcel of land up for sale that is owned by the town of Stevensville.
We have a motion by Councilmember Barker, do we have a second?
I second that.
We have a motion, we have a second by Councilmember Nelson, do we have a discussion by the council? Councilmember Brown.
This is also the area that the dog park was going to be put in. Just another idea, possible if, I'm just thinking maybe we could have just the portion where the fence posts are and the pavement is. Maybe if we have that, just sell that portion. I'm wondering if we would make enough money from that, maybe to have Public Works get rid of that Kelly hump, so that there would be additional parking, maybe throw a layer of gravel down there, additional parking for people to park instead of come soccer time, you can't get up and down College Street because you have car doors swinging open in front of you, you got kids running in between the cars. Unfortunately, Miss Chief of Police hasn't witnessed all this. And then on the other side, where there would be a little pocket, I'm wondering if we couldn't develop that maybe and put some bike rack in there, so people, maybe it would be a little bit more accessible for people off of Main Street. It might be easier for Public Works to keep the weeds down in that area, because they get knee high and you can't walk through there. Just an idea to throw out there.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Do you guys want to roll with that? You want us to survey both and see what we come up with, or just survey them?
It's not gonna hurt to survey both of them, because they're gonna be there already, correct?
We can sure do that and then come back with our votes.
Is that big enough for a parking area?
That's what I was just gonna say.
I don't think it is big enough for a parking area.
It would probably a couple vehicles. I don't know.
That might be some tight, you might be right, Stacy, that might be some tight parking.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough room in there for parking. I mean, yeah, it was big enough for a skating rink that was in there at one time, but as far as, other parking and stuff like that, I don't think it's big enough for that.
Yeah. It might be a little tight. to get in there or whatever you're gonna, how are you gonna park? Are you gonna
Well, and
parallel
if
park?
she's asking for other, obviously for a portion of, if we can give her a portion of that she can bid on or whatever, if it comes down to it, that's gonna take away a little bit more, so you're not gonna get much in there.
You're not gonna get much in there anyway, once we sell it to her, once you walk through there and see the asphalt that she's already placed in there, in the pole. So it doesn't leave a whole lot.
Well, if we go, I'm sorry,
Councilmember,
if we do sell that whole little rectangular piece to the edge, or put it out for bids to be sold, I feel that the town should reserve themselves a right of way for ingress and egress to get into the park from Main Street.
we can put that in the.
And then, at least, because I know with the, apartments down there off of 11th Street, there's a lot of people that walk up down there to go across Main to go to the grocery store.
Mhm. We can sure put that language in there to make sure we have basically an easement through there, right, so we can get through there if we have to.
Yep.
And I'm sure if she did buy it, she would do that too. She's been wanting this for, as you three two know, a couple of years now.
And I think we're doing the right process by putting it out there as well.
And,
Step one,
and since budget, money is tight on the budget, just a thought, we could use this money to pay for the abatement service whenever we were to get something to clean that up. And then, of course, we would get back the money back on the back end from that for the farms, but this would sure help us out, so we wouldn't be scrambling to try to find.
We also have I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Councilmember.
We also have a fence down there that needs to be fixed down there on that faces College Street. It's
Yes.
been tore up to move the playground equipment in, and it was never returned to its original location, so.
We could use money for that too. Okay, any further discussion from the council? Any discussion on, Vicky?
Vicky Motley, 318 9th Street. I just am really, really sad that the map wasn't accurate. I think that it is misleading, and it looks like you're selling the whole park. So, because there were no orange circles. I don't know if you can even say that the vote is okay because you haven't labeled it properly. I mean, I get where you want to sell and where you want to have that done, but it's not marked that way.
And I can say, that's my fault. The new printer, I did not know that it did not scan in color.
Right.
And so when I uploaded the packet that night, I do my quick scan and the map was there and I just kept going. So I apologize for that. I had no idea that our new copy machine did not scan in color. So.
But I'm just saying that overall, it's not an accurate map and it's not indicating to anybody looking at the packet that what you're doing.
Right.
I was very confused. So,
Thank you, Vicky. Jeff?
I have a couple of questions. One, has the park board considered this proposal at all? And what's their thought on that? Two, you gotta have an easement because you have a fire hydrant right about where you plan to cut that off, and that water line runs through there. So you gotta have an easement at the very least. But yeah, there's not a lot of land there. And then also, if they've already put pavement on town property, how did that happen? And when did that happen? And how does that work? I just don't understand how this is all going down. I mean, if you look at the aerial photo, it may not be 100% accurate, I get that. But it looks like they've been driving on town property for quite a while there. And now, I mean, The town needs to take care of the town property. The town needs to take care of what the citizens own. I don't know why we're in such a big hurry to sell off town assets. We sold off the gravel pit. Where'd that money go? Gone. Asset gone. We got nothing out of that. I mean, I don't understand the hurry to sell off town assets.
Thanks, Jeff. Any other comments from the public? Any comments from the council? Councilmember Brown.
When this was first brought to me, it was under the understanding it was done by the town gave them a fencing easement, which I don't quite understand a fencing easement. And it was by a handshake with the prior councils that they could use a turnaround area for the storage units.
That was right here.
Any further comments from the council? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker?
No.
Councilmember Brown? No. Councilmember Nelson?
No.
And Councilmember Smith?
No.
Motion fails 4-0. Thank you. Well, we won't move on to item D then, or C, I mean, because since it's a no on that, there's no sense getting hold of it realtor. We'll move on to item number D, discussion decision, removal, changes to the town of Stevensville personnel policy parental leave, section 27. So we were, this is a confusing one. Last year we were told, and I wasn't here, of course, Gina can confer with that this parental leave policy was taken out. Well, it wasn't, and then we had a situation where we had an employee that his wife had a kid, and now he didn't want on parental leave, and so we asked Derek Shepherd of MMIA for guidance, and he came back and told us that we had to change this policy. So that's why we're here. And with that, Gina, would you let them know?
Yeah, so, for the MCA code, 2-18-0606, you know, we do have to, provide reasonable leave of absence for parents. And the recommendation is 6 weeks for the birth mother and 15 days for the birth father. And per Derek at NMIA, he goes, it's really up to the town whether they want to pay for that 6 weeks or the 15 days or not at all. So some towns don't pay for it. Some towns pay for part of it, but that's literally really all up to you guys on what you want to do with it. But we do have to provide at least 6 weeks of leave for the mother and 15 days for the father.
And whether you want to pay that employee, the mother, is up to the council. You're not required to. She can just take that off and extended leave. But in our policy, it states that we pay them. And our policy also stated that the father is getting paid too, which we found out shouldn't be done. So we had to honor that since it was in the policy, and currently we have an employee that is taking parental leave off and on, and we have to pay it because it's in the policy. We're bringing it forward now to change that so it happens in the future. We're not required to pay him. Councilmember Barker.
I think we need a motion before we discuss, please.
Yes.
I make a motion for removal of changes to the Town of Stevensville Personnel Policy, Parental Leave, Section 27.
We have a motion by Councilmember Barker. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second by Councilmember Smith. Do we have further discussion from the council? Councilmember Barker.
This would be something I think interesting to see what other towns are doing with this. I know a lot of places, even at my work, it's not something that is a paid. If you want to take it, you can take the time off. but it's either vacation pay or nothing at all. And I think that's the way a lot of businesses have gone as well. I understand that it may be different for statewide, but I think it's something that we need to look into, because obviously we're losing that employee in the office as well. I'm not saying that it's not important to be with the family, because it is. But we're also, money's tight again.
Mhm.
So this would be something I think that we should look into a little bit more.
So we already did do that. We looked into it, and when, Derek said that really, it's really up to the town, and it's really up to your finances. And so we can't really compare what we do to Missoula or to Polson or Trinity, because we don't know their financial situation.
Right. I
So,
understand that.
he said basically it really truly is up to each town on what you want to do. So, I mean, if somebody pays for 6 weeks, does that mean we can pay for 6 weeks? Probably not, because money's really tight, So, or if we were doing good and we could pay for it, then we would, but every town is different, so. It was all on the listserv at one point, reading it, we read all about it, and people just do different things. They do different things. So it would be kind of hard to do more research on that, only because every situation is different, every town is different.
I'll meet on it.
And also, I'll just read what Derek wrote to Gina. Employers are required to provide a reasonable leave of absence to parents, which is normally considered, he said 6, but it's 12 weeks for the birth mother and 15 days for the birth father. Our sample policies just reference maternity leave, but I would include paternity leave to include liabilities laws of the Human Rights Act and Pregnant Workers Fairness Act require reasonable accommodations, including leave of absences for employees who are pregnant, recently gave birth, or have pregnancy-related conditions. So basically, it comes down to 12 weeks and 15 days for the birth father.
6 weeks is
I mean,
what we have to give. 6 weeks is what is reasonable. You can get 12 weeks.
Right, okay, yeah, 6 weeks
Yes.
is reasonable, 6 to 12 if you want to, for the mother. And 15 days for the father. And it comes down to whether you want to pay or not. Because right now, our policies dictate we're paying both.
Mhm.
What would the council like to do?
You have public comment as well?
Yes. Any questions from the public on parental leave policy?
So would that affect our current employee right now who has just had a little one? Does that affect
No, he's
him?
grandfathered in,
Okay.
yes. We were told that he's in place. This is moving
Future.
forward.
Okay.
I know that up at school, people have to take their sick leave time. It's not, that's deducted from that. I think our employees can take paternal leave up to whatever FMLA says, so. But anyway, that's how we do it at school. And if they need more time, then they have to go through the sick leave bank and request more.
Council members,
I'd like to find out, a little bit more information like Councilman Barker was saying, and perhaps we should do this on a cow meeting so we can just really investigate it, see what other towns are doing, et cetera.
I have to agree with Gina though on that too. Everybody's in a different situation. How are we gonna find it if we narrow it down? That's gonna be really hard.
we have to
I
do it.
do like the idea of it, but I would have to agree with Gina on it. Every town's situation is different right now.
Mhm.
And that's a lot of legwork probably.
And I think towns that are bigger with bigger budgets can
Yeah, they
afford
can
to
afford that.
absorb paid leave.
Mhm.
But little towns like us that are struggling with their budgets, do we want to pay that employee? Can we afford to do that?
Well, this is something too that, obviously, policy goes into effect. We can always come back at a later time and change it.
Mhm.
Any other comments from the council?
I've always thought that, FML required you to use sick leave, vacation, comp time and things like that. That's how you earned your.
So it's, the FMLA is different than parental leave.
Yeah.
So,
Can't do that.
and that is true. Yes, for FMLA you do that, but, it is different than the parental leave. Parental leave. just
Yeah, because
goes-
FMLA will make you use your vacation first before you have,
Mhm.
if you have more than 3 days prior to that,
Yeah,
good example.
yeah.
So we ever change anything?
I think it needs to just change, obviously. I think at this time, no, obviously where those are grandfathered in, keep those the same, but as far as future, I don't believe that we should pay for that out of the town budget for right now.
How much time would you request for the mother to have off?
Well, she's required either the 6 or the 12 or
You
the
have to give 6
6
weeks.
weeks.
Up to 12?
You can give up to 12, but you have to give 6 weeks.
Okay,
I think it should be with the 6 weeks,
6 weeks,
Do the 6, yeah.
paid or non-paid?
non-paid.
Non-paid, okay. 6 weeks of non-paid, and what about the father?
I would believe it would be the same.
15
He's got
days.
the 15, exceeding the 15 days, he cannot exceed those 15 days with
Non-paid.
no pay.
Okay.
Can you still use,
Their sick and vacation?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can use their sick and vacation time for that. Anytime you take off, you can use that for anything. So,
Okay. Curious what they were saying there for a minute.
6 weeks non-paid, 6 days non-paid. Okay.
Do we need to redo that motion?
Yes.
Okay.
So we can clarify it.
Okay, where are we at here? All right.
So the 15 days is unpaid for the father as well? Remember that? We're gonna keep that.
So this is, okay,
Councilmember Barker.
I'd like to make a motion for the removal of changes on the town of Stevensville's personnel policy, leave section 27. No pay for either required time off for mother for 6 weeks or father, or how would you, not say father, for 15
15 days.
15 days.
We have a motion, do we have a second? Councilmember Nelson. We have a motion, we have a second. Do we have any further discussion on the council? Any discussion on the public comment? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown.
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
And Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. Item number E, discussion decision, approval of a special event permit for the Stevensville Scarecrow Festival. So Mr. Doyle wants to get this out of the way.
Actually, it was from
Oh,
Project 59870, and Lily turned this one.
Chloe Knapp, yeah.
She just wants to get it, the date set, kind of like what Sean came in and did, and then she'll provide some additional information as the summer goes along. Almost exact to what she turned in last year.
Okay, and that was huge success. With that, can I entertain a motion, please? Councilmember Barker.
I make a motion for approval of special event permit of the Stevensville Scarecrow Festival.
We have a motion by Councilmember Barker. Do we have a second? We have a second by Councilmember Smith. Do we have a discussion by the Councilmember Barker?
I see on her permit that she's got, where it says overnight camping requested, no, but it also has possible.
Yeah. that's
What does
fine.
she mean by that?
Was there any overnight last year?
No, she didn't. Unless-
Oh, it should have been up with the next line, bonfire.
Okay,
We apologize for that. Her and I were going back and forth on a couple different ones that day. So the possible is bonfire. And if it was, it would be similar to last year where they had, I believe, two.
They had the little
Little
fire
fire
right by the
pits.
Rocky Mountain
Yes.
Bank and
Exactly.
so are they planning on doing the same thing along the sidewalks in front of the businesses as well? Nothing out on the,
Nothing on the bike path.
can't work out. Okay. Councilmember Brown.
Has the fire department chief and the police department chief had an option to review this?
We have not turned that over to them. She was trying to say to secure the days at this point in time.
just the days?
Any further discussion from the council? Any discussion from the public on the special event permit of the Scarecrow Festival? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take? Oh, excuse me, Jeff, you're coming up.
Jeff has one.
I'm happy to see that they're ahead of the game getting this done. Hopefully they perform better than the circus has performed, which is happening on the 21st, and I still have seen nothing about the circus. Which is gonna be probably a very sizable public event with people and personnel in a one-way in, one-way out venue. It'd really be nice to have some information on these things before the event kicks off.
Jeff, I'll go back and look because I sent that prior to the email exchange, so I will double check
Thank you.
on who got that and who didn't. Thank you.
Game straight. I'm ready to hear a lot of Fred Yardhill sing.
Any further comments from the public? Any comments from the council? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Barker,
I,
Councilmember Brown,
No, I'd like to see the permit filled out correctly.
Okay.
And the two departments have a chance to review beforehand.
thank you. Councilmember
Thank you.
Nelson,
Nah,
I'm sorry, say it a little bit.
no.
And Councilmember Smith.
All right.
I won't break the tie, so motion fails, 2-2. So we'll have to bring it back, get the permits that we need to do to talk to Jeff and the chief and bring it back. Thank you. We'll move on to item number F, discussion decision, resolution number 533, a resolution of the Stephenville Town Council adopting pet park hours for the Lewis and Clark Park. Mr. Bo, would you like to come up and do your spiel?
So we began talking a few weeks ago. We were talking about changing the hours, the operating hours of Lewis and Clark Park and essentially the Raleigh Park as well, from sundown to sunup. What this does is it prevents people that, who are up to no good in those areas of the city in the late evening hours from actually entering upon those pieces of property. There's a lot of things going on in the park after night, especially when the sun goes down. Drug transactions, people sleeping in the park. We actually know of 2 people that were sleeping in Lewis and Clark Park just this month. So prevents things like that. Also gives us an opportunity, in the event that we find somebody out there who violates the ordinance, it gives us probable cause to detain those individuals and find out what they're up to in the park. And late evening hours in the park, it's usually not up to any good, So we started talking to Janelle and the mayor a few weeks back to see if we can bring this up so that we can get a better grip on what's going on in the parks in the late evening hours. I can hear them, and I live over on Charlo Street, and I can hear them sometimes up till midnight. And, I drive through there 9, 10 o'clock at night, and 5 or 6, 7, 8 cars out there. A lot of them out at skate park, some of them down there at the basketball court, and then there's adults over on the playground. No kids around, and this is in the late evening hours when it's almost fixing to be dark. So it gives me a better handle on it if you allow this to happen, and we'll stop it. Any questions?
So we don't have a gate or anything down there still, do we? That's gone.
Before I go back and forth, can I start a motion and and we can get into a discussion. Councilmember Brown.
I move that we adopt the resolution number 533, a resolution of the Stevensville Town Council adopting park hours for Lewis and Clark and
Ravalli.
Ravalli.
I was only informed of Lewis and Clark Park when I put this together. I
Yeah.
did not know that the other one was involved.
So I wanted to include any and all parks in the city within our jurisdiction. Because potentially you could have the same issue over at Ravalli. If we run anybody off from Lewis and Clark, then they're all gonna go to Ravalli Park.
Councilmember Brown.
For all city parks.
That's good. Unless there's some extenuating circumstance
But
or
we
special
have
circumstance
it
that allows it.
worded, we have it worded on the agenda as Lewis and Clark Park, so we have to stick with that.
I believe though, if we were to change all hours, that's an ordinance. We're changing the entire ordinance.
Yeah.
This, because of how our ordinance reads, we can change per location,
Per location.
correct? Just,
And we
and
can, we
Mayor
can,
Michelson found that, so.
So we have to do it.
we would have to do it as a separate, even though it would have to come back as another resolution. Right now, it is, as it states on our agenda right now,
Right, Lewis. and
is
Clark.
just Lewis and Clark Park, so it has to be just Lewis and Clark Park.
And so there's not a whole lot of neighborhood at Lewis and Clark. I mean, there's some on the outskirts. But when we run these folks off, they're gonna cover the parks like Ravalli, which is a neighborhood that's pretty big, so, and then that could be problematic down the road, so.
Well, I mean, that's not a problem, but this is what I'm saying, we can bring that up on the other one, but right now, we have it stated like this.
What if we rescinded your motion and we reworded it to add the language of all park? Couldn't do that?
I don't think you can.
I don't think you can
It's
with all parts
because you
because
have,
it's
or
an
you already
ordinance.
have it.
And the ordinance says specific park.
Agenda.
It's very simple for me to bring this another resolution separate to state Father Valley Park at the 27th meeting.
So we could pass this part of it tonight and then bring another resolution for the other part.
Correct.
I rescind my motion to approve Resolution 533, resolution of the Stevensville Town Council adopting park hours for all parks.
Okay. You have
We need a second and a vote.
Maybe first one.
a motion, we have a second.
To rescind.
This is reset, okay.
Just to rescind.
Do we have a discussion by the council? Discussion by the public? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilor Barker,
Aye.
Councilor Brown,
Aye.
Councilor Nelson,
Aye.
and Councilor Smith.
Okay, motion passes 4-0. Thank you. So now, we need a motion for Lewis and Clark. Back to this. Council members,
I make a motion that we adopt resolution 533 for the park, for the Lewis and Clark Park of the Township of Stevensville.
Okay, do we have a second? Yes,
Second the motion.
we have a motion, we have a second by Councilmember Barker, do we have a discussion by? Any further discussion from?
All right. No.
Oh,
I had a question on this.
Go ahead.
One of the only things that I noticed as an issue besides wanting to lump all parks in one, which I think is a smart idea. What times are we talking about?
So sundown to sun up, and that changes depending on the season. But sundown specifically means, I mean, I know it stays light out till 9 o'clock, but the sun goes down around 6:30, 7 o'clock. So that's kind of what we're looking for. That way it kind of keeps it about the same, on the same keel all year round. And then obviously sun up in the morning when the sun comes up over the mountain and the park's open. Not at light, just sundown to sun up. And then it gives me an opportunity to explain it to them when they're in violation. So that,
I think we need to have a specific time.
the problem with that is, when I first got here in February, it was getting dark around 6. Now it's getting dark around 9:30, 10 o'clock.
But I understand that. But if we put a time, just a set time, even in, like you said,
Yeah.
February, 9 o'clock,
Mhm.
they know they can't be in there.
It
So I think
If that were the case, then I would recommend 6 o'clock in the evening, unless we had some type of special event, like the circus. You know, and then you make an allowance for an event like the circus or something like that. So if you go from like 6 in the evening to 6 at night, I mean, because in certain parts of the year, different parts of the season, it gets dark at 6 o'clock.
Or you could do summer and winter hours.
Councilmember Brown.
We can't do 6 o'clock because there's kids using the park, either like football, soccer, at 6 o'clock
Yeah.
usually. They are wrapping it up usually by 7.
So the
So-
lights work on the softball field?
No, but in the springtime, they're out there until 6:30 or 7. They're wrapping up around that time, but, and then, and what is the swimming pool hours?
right here.
Pool hours are,
And/or the splash pad too, I guess, they have certain hours.
Pool hours are 8 AM to 7 PM, Monday through Friday, and 12 to 5 on Saturdays.
So 7 to 7?
it's a tough, I like that we are monitoring what is down there. I really do, because it needs to be done. It hasn't been done. But I guess a bigger direction of, everybody sees sun up, sun down differently.
Mhm.
So I guess it's putting a time can be, I don't know, was it 10 o'clock before? I think there was some time in there at one time, probably at one point. I think there was. I think there was a sign that, as we walked or went into the park, there was a sign at one time that said, well, because there were gates, but it
And
didn't
they locked them
necessarily get done, but,
Mhm.
I don't know. It's a tough one.
Councilmember Smith.
I'd like to make the point that I have observed other communities that have parks that had a sign that said sunrise to sunset. So it's being done elsewhere in that fashion.
Councilmember Nelson.
I don't mean to drag it on. I'm just concurring with Stacy on the point that it's sun up to sundown. As much as people are going to probably argue with you, it opens a debate argument for people. I was thinking, what is youth curfew? Could we not tie it in with that?
Is that 10? Well, it was 10 o'clock, but I
It's
don't know.
11
It's still
o'clock.
close.
There's no such thing.
That was a thought.
So if, and I get what you're saying, but we run into the same problem if we allow that to, because they'd be in the park until curfew.
True.
Can we get some public comment on it? See what some of the public comments are.
When you're done talking, I'll ask about it.
Sorry.
I'm done.
Vicky?
Vicki Motley. I think it's ridiculous to close the parks at 6 o'clock at night. That's when it cools down in the summertime, and that's when people go out to use the parks, because it's cooler and the equipment isn't scalding hot and whatnot. And parents are getting off work. I think it's ridiculous to put 6 o'clock. I think 10 o'clock is reasonable. Because I know there's tons of people that come down to the park, Father River Valley Park, because it's cooler, and they're there late at night, later, but it's still light out. I don't know that you can set, I think 10 would be fine, but 6 is ridiculous. Sorry.
Abby Motley, 9th Street, Stevensville. I think that summer and winter hours would be really beneficial. I mean, as the chief stated, it gets dark earlier in the year and stays light later. I don't see what an issue would be with doing summer and winter hours, because then you wouldn't be running your staff until 10 o'clock at night in February when it's dark at 5:36. So that's something that you guys should think about.
Mrs. Tadvick?
Well, thank you. I grew up here and we had access to the park, but we also had a gate that I realized was taken down 5 years ago, 4 years ago. Can we not put a gate up, lock that sucker up at, say, when our hours, when you guys have decided on the hours, that would keep the problems of people going in and out. Just lock that thing up, put 2 gates on it again. I know you probably can't do that up at Father Valley, but you can do it down here. You could lock it up and you wouldn't have everybody running in and out, and the chief wouldn't try to get to find out whether they should be there or not. Also, what happened to our cameras? We had cameras that were bought in the park by, I believe, Kathy Cook bought those cameras. Where are they? And why are we not using them? Why are they not at the chief's disposal to use those cameras? And then he could monitor too after hours. He could just come in instead of having to go to the park, and he could see what was up. Can we not do that again? Can we find those cameras? And where are they? They weren't privately, they were privately bought, but they weren't somebody's personal use, were they?
Those cameras are, for some reason, they didn't work down there, they couldn't get the service. First they put them in, correct me if I'm wrong, they put them in the pool.
But that could only stay,
And then they took them down to public works and tried to monitor there, it wouldn't work, and then,
I think they probably updated cameras. I bet they're a lot more technological now than they were then, but I think he ought to have some cameras down there that he could monitor the situation.
and as far as the gates, I went down there yesterday and I looked all over. And Ed Sutherland was down there and I asked him, and he said when Mayor Dewey first became mayor, he told him to remove those gates for whatever reason.
So where do they go? Are they down there?
No, we can't find them, I don't know. I went through all of Public Works, I asked Steve. And Ed Sutherland, he thinks they hauled them away somewhere, but he doesn't.
Maybe we should get a quote on some gates to put up.
We thought about that.
Okay.
Just so you know, the ordinance now reads section 1820, hours of operation, closed hours, all of the town parks shall be closed to all unauthorized town personnel between the hours of 11 PM and 6 AM each day. That's currently the ordinance. And what we did is on subsection B, notwithstanding subsection of this section, the town may direct by resolution that certain town parks be closed during other specified hours. And that's what it says, certain town parks, not all, so but we were right earlier where we have to, based upon the time of year and the individual park's security issues, provided each closed hours shall be prominently posted at each entrance to the park in question. So if you want to change or go with this resolution, set a time, then you would have to post signs. Just want to let you know what the hours currently are, as far as the ordinance is 11 PM to 6 AM. That's the hours, just put them right down. Councilmember Walker.
So with the early hours, you're saying 11 AM, they do swimming lessons down there at the park before that.
6 AM, 11
11
PM.
PM, yeah.
11
I'm like,
PM,
wait a
6
minute,
AM.
Gotcha.
That's the hours now.
Unless we do two different times for half the year.
It's up to you guys. You can specify the hours within that resolution on Farther or Ocean Park Park. And we can only do that one, and then like Janelle said, we can come back on the 27th and do Father Valley Park and same time or whatever. Councilmember Parker.
So is this gonna exclude when you do special events down in the park, when the park has their band and everything down there until?
Yeah, that's, yeah,
I think what's gonna have to happen then is when they, just like the camping in the park, then I think that then we'll use crew picnics as an example. They put in for their permit, and then they're also asking for an exemption to the park hours. And then, that's never been done before, that's interesting, now that I just said that out loud. We've just granted the special event permit for an event.
I do have to say that I agree with Abby on her comment with the winter hours. 6 o'clock, why have that extra out there? And there shouldn't be anybody down there at that time. It's dark. And then obviously maybe 10, 10:30, I don't know, evening.
So do you want to set a time in for park?
This shouldn't be rocket science. It should be something very simple to put together.
Councilmember Parker.
I'd like to, we have a motion already on the table though.
So if you want to change, you want to rescind that and then make a new motion to set your time, whatever you want. Because right now, the resolution, the way it is from sundown to sunrise.
I think we should leave it the way it is right now. Jeff, I don't like that look.
It's an easy fix, folks.
Okay,
Councilmember Parker,
Well,
go ahead.
we're gonna resend resolution 533, a resolution of the Stevensville Town Council adopting park hours for Lewis Park Park. That was the motion that was on the table.
That's what the motion on the table. So if you want to rescind that,
We're gonna
that's a motion.
resend that, and then I will come back with it.
Okay. We have a second on rescinding that. A second. Councilmember Nelson. We have a motion and a second. Do we have a discussion by the council on rescinding that motion? Do we have a discussion from the public on rescinding the motion? Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Parker,
Aye.
Councilmember Brown,
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson, and Councilmember Smith.
aye,
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay.
Councilmember Parker.
I would like to make a motion to approve resolution 533 as a resolution of the town of Stevensville council adopting park hours for Lewis and Clark Park, 6 PM in the evening,
Morning before 9.
yes,
6 AM.
6 AM to
No, it's closed from
All right.
11 PM to 6 AM.
There we go. 11 a.m.
No, 11 PM.
PM to 6 a.m. And then summer hours,
That would be summer hours.
okay.
And I believe the ordinance already states that time, is that correct?
Yeah.
The ordinance already states that.
No, it doesn't.
Who does not?
The ordinance does not state that.
Point of order, interest, whatever. So you're making a resolution number 533. You're not changing the ordinance. It's a resolution number 533. And in that resolution, it says that now therefore it be resolved, the town council the following Lewiston Park hours be closed sundown to sunset. Sunrise to sunset. That's where you want to put your time frame. Just take out the sunrise and sunset and put your times in there and adopt resolution 533.
That's what I was trying to do, but I can't get that.
I
Can't get it.
totally understand what you're saying. That's always been
time, yeah.
Okay.
Don't.
It's just changing the time that it's open to close.
It already says closing is 10 o'clock.
Yes, no,
No,
11 to
11
6.
o'clock.
11 to 6.
11 to 6.
11 to
at the current
6.
ordinance.
11 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Is
Perfect.
is
closed.
And we're gonna keep that for year round.
You're gonna have that, it's gonna be closed anyway. It's
So
closed,
you want to
it's
do
done by,
11, you want to do it from 11 PM to 6 AM?
yes.
Well, that's already in the ordinance. That's what it is.
No, it says winter hours in the ordinance.
You're
Or it has your-
adopting this resolution, folks.
Yeah.
You're not changing your ordinance.
I heard you say that. Read it again.
Hours of operation, closed hours, section 1820. A, all of the town parks shall be closed to all but authorized town personnel between the hours of 11 PM and 6 AM each day. That's it. It doesn't say winter, summer. It's straight across, year round. But item
But we
C,
haven't,
with the resolution, within that, like Jeff said, you can change sundown to sunrise to the hours.
and I
that
think
you
it
want.
needs to be that way.
But the park already is closed at 11 PM to 6 AM per ordinance.
So then we don't need resolution.
If you don't need it,
Yeah, we
if they're
don't
gonna
need
keep
it.
it, then they just need to not vote on resolution 533. Yes, that's correct.
I think what the chief was bringing up was to maybe change the hours, maybe not 11 o'clock at night. Make the hour, close the park from maybe 10 o'clock to 6 AM or 9:30 to 6 AM. I think that was what he was originally, is that what I was
That's correct.
hearing? So that was what I was
I don't
originally
think
hearing,
anybody needs to be in the park and when it's dark.
at 11 o'clock. And it is dark at 11 o'clock. So I think he was.
Dark before 11.
Yeah, I think he was saying, and yeah, we do know here, the sun goes down 10:30, but it gets pretty dark.
Change that 1 hour to 10 o'clock. And
But
we
that
can, we
was-
can change that 1 hour from 11 o'clock to 10 o'clock to reflect it, if that's where we're going with it.
Johnny Carson comes on at 10.
I party down there all the time, so,
Doesn't take to change the ordinance.
Yeah.
so is that,
You shouldn't need to change the ordinance if not just in a resolution.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't, we're reading that at this point, you guys.
So,
so,
motion on the floor was,
Like Chief Motley just mentioned, if you guys want to change the hours different from what the ordinance already states, which is 11 PM to 6 AM, all you have to do is just change the words of sunset to sunrise to reflect a hour.
because Mr. Bowe's agenda items specified within the resolution, sunrise.
Correct.
So, Councilmember Nance.
Can we just word it like this, to adopt sunrise to sundown as the time sees fit?
Yay.
I'm not being
That's very
technical
vague.
enough. That's not it.
I think all we have to do is, the park is closed during summer time from 10:30 to 6 a.m. Winter from such and such to such and such. And that's it. That's all we have to do is go, that the park is closed at 10 or 10:30, 11 to 6 a.m. During the summer, during the winter, it is closed from probably, 5:30 or 6 till 6, probably 7 a.m. is fine. Because it's really not light out until 8 during winter time.
What about fall and spring?
I was just going to say, phone calls I'm going to, guys, the phone call that I will then receive at town hall will be, what are you identifying as the months for summer and what are your months you're identifying for winter? And I'm not even kidding. That is the phone call that I will
You can
get.
do different things.
I could put that in there. I seriously, that's what will happen next, which will be, okay, I understand that your hours of operation on the summer are closed from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And then what months are considered summer months?
Daylight savings.
Daylight savings.
So you could adopt this with an hour in there, and then you could draft another resolution from the other parks that specify what summer hours are, winter hours are at that time. You can do that in the next meeting and move this meeting forward.
What's the council wish?
So maybe I put it in better context, and, because the chief's wife, she mentioned earlier, a lot of folks like to get off at 6 and take their families down there, and I get all that, and typically, those folks are gone by 7, 7:30, whatever. What I'm seeing in the evening hours from 8 on are lots of kids down at the skate park smoking weed, or people back there in the little pavilion areas behind the playgrounds drinking beer and things like that. I don't see families with kids walking around the park after 8 o'clock in the evening.
Right.
I just see a lot of mischief going on. That's what we're trying to cut out.
That's the reason why he's bringing this forward, is for safety first. And I realize we all want to change the hours to accommodate everything. But at the end of the day, we have to think of the safety of these kids here. And we have to make it accessible for him to be able to go in there and say, these are the hours. And like he was telling me one day, to be able to, if he sees something as far as, to be able to do a search on a vehicle that's down there.
I get probable cause if it violates the
Right.
ordinance.
It gives you better chance of probable cause. Councilmember Nelson.
So, do we think the smartest thing to do is to adopt this and word it at the end and time to be adjusted at a later time? Or time to be added at later times? I don't understand why this has gotten so difficult. I think it needs to happen. How do we do that? That's my question.
I guess I still want to know what you guys want to do with the hours.
We have some public comment. I don't know
Oh,
where you're
yeah.
at. Mayor?
Maybe it just needs to be tabled until you can come up with
Figure it out,
appropriate wording.
I think the intent of it is right on the mark. I think the intent is good, we just need to
Finalize it,
maybe
get it
broaden
down.
that time period a little bit.
Okay.
For more use, and I understand the chief's point that, yeah, after a certain point in time, the citizens like to leave because of what else is happening down there, they don't want to be down there, so they leave. Get that, and it's hard for our police department to do anything about it if they don't have something that they can hang their hat on and go, hey, you can't be here because this. So I think the intent is great, and we need to do that. We just need to maybe let the chief rethink that a little bit now that he's had some input from others, and maybe throw out a resolution that meets the need of all parks.
Councilmember.
We could actually stay from May 1st and through October 1st, we will have, the park shall be open from 6 AM until whatever time we decide to be closed. And then from after that, since in October is when it's starting to get cold and go until the 1st of May, we can set those days, a time period from October until May.
This, again, make a recommendation. How about if we go? I didn't think of this because we never had a park board meeting so long, but Vicky and Jeff said that at the very beginning, I think. What about if we table this, we take it back to the park board, and you're on park board, right? Take it to the park board, let the park board hash it out, make a recommendation with Chief John, bring it back before the council, and then do it. And that's the proper way to be done anyway.
That sounds good.
And that's on me. I didn't think of bringing it before the park board, but that's the proper way to do it. If this was a planning and zoning issue, we would be taking it to the planning and zoning, but since the park board, as Vicky knows, hasn't been active for quite a while, we should probably take it there.
So you want us to have a meeting?
Yeah. Why not, right,
That's a
Vicky?
novel idea.
Councilmember Smith.
So vote to table?
Yes.
You're looking for a
But we
vote?
have to resend a motion here.
I had a motion on the table.
Ah,
I will resend my motion of the whole, can I just say the whole, could it get into the vote?
Okay.
Yes.
We have a motion to rescind it all.
Yes.
We have a second.
Yeah.
We have a motion to second to rescind it. Do we take the vote? Council.
Councilmember Parker? Councilmember Brown? Aye. Councilmember Nelson?
Aye.
Councilmember Spett?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Now can we have a motion to table this, recommend it taken to the park board, let them iron it out, and then bring it back before the council. Councilmember Nelson.
I make a motion that we table the activation of ordinance 533 until a further date, a later date.
Change that to resolution.
It's a resolution.
Resolution, I apologize.
Would you like to recommend taking that to a park board meeting?
Absolutely. I
Okay.
believe that'd be
So we have a
beneficial.
motion to table resolution 533, take it to a park board, let them hammer out the details and bring it back before the council. Let's die.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. We have a discussion. Have a discussion. Vicky?
You'll have a meeting.
I don't know how to type thumbs up, but I'll.
Gotta go to work now. Put your thinking cap on.
There's your sign.
Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Parker?
Aye.
Councilmember Brown?
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson?
Aye.
And Councilmember Spett?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Wow, thanks. Okay. Item number G, discussion decision, resolution 534, a resolution of the town of Stephenville declaring town surplus property sold. So as you know, we had a surplus sale. Some of the items came out for bid, some didn't, and as the resolution reads, we can either dispose or sell them. A day after the surplus sale, we were approached by some people that wanted to buy some items, and so I got a hold of the department heads, Jeff, Steve. They decided they wanted to sell them for the set price, the opening bid price, which we did, so. And also the squad car is also on here that is going to the airport. So with that, could I entertain a motion? These have all been paid for and everything, except for the ambulance.
We are getting a new title.
We're getting a new title for that, and once we get that, then
We done.
good. Can I get a motion? Councilmember Nelson.
I make a motion that we acknowledge the 2016 Dodge Charger patrol vehicle.
We don't have to
No,
do that.
Oh, okay.
We just did a resolution approved 534. The agenda item itself.
Oh, I apologize. I make a motion that we adopt resolution 534 and a resolution of the town of Stevensville council declaring certain town properties as sold.
We have a motion, do we have a second? Councilmember
Second
Parker.
motion.
We have a motion, we have a second, we have a discussion by the commission. Discussion from the public, in surplus item. Seeing none, Janelle, would you take the roll?
Councilmember Barker? Councilmember Brown?
No,
Councilmember Nelson?
Aye.
And Councilmember Smith?
All right,
Motion passes 3-1, thank you. Town council, or board reports. Board meetings, town council comments. Councilmember Brown.
I met, Bob was out of town, so I did sit in on the meeting for HDR for Spring Street. Gina was also there and Mr. Laster was also there. For the most part, I see we did receive an email. They're waiting to start that project until the Donaldson's gets the proper depth extension for the manhole cover. And then it'll be, Spring Street project will be started. We also discussed also the paving crowning problem with the runoff on Mission Street. They said that they would take a look at that. They would be down this week or next week. Hopefully they were down. Put leveling surface down first and then try to and negotiate the crown in the center of the road. Hopefully they did that. I don't know. I think that's about it.
Okay. Any other council comments? Councilmember Barker.
I just want to make a comment that this weekend, there's going to be a lot of different activity downtown. So hopefully we'll have some extra patrol throughout. There'll be a car show on East 3rd Street to Church, is it Church? I always get those two. Church Street. So come out and support the community and see what's out there for Father's Day weekend.
Okay. Thank you. I'll move on to Councilmember Nelson.
I was actually, this is kind of for public works, but I guess it should be on the record. I was on a walk by the cemetery behind our houses. And there was a large branch that seems to me to be tossed over the fence. I pulled it back over, but it was heavier than I expected, but I kind of bent the fence a little. So there's that. I can show you where. And I was just wanting to make that, it seemed to have been picked up by Public Works. They apparently saw it, picked it up. But the fence may be damaged. I just want to put that on record for them.
Okay, look at it. Okay, thank you. Any other council comments? So I'm gonna leave you out, Mr. Smith. Okay.
we just keep cleaning up the town.
There you go. Okay, executive report. As Councilmember Brown mentioned, the Spring Street paving project, they're waiting on a manhole from Donaldson, and that should be done next week, or if it's not done now, that shouldn't take long to be put in. The project is slated to start on June 24th, barring any setbacks. Marty has been notified, and I think it says here, Marty is working on getting me the submittals to review prior, and Ellison are working on a project, and they're hoping to get notices out first part of next week. So that should be coming for Spring Street. Mission Street is moving along, and as Councilmember Brown stated again, I did talk to Caleb, the engineer over there, and he does know about that crown there. And they're going to work on that. But he didn't say they're going to tear it all out, of course, but he did say they are aware of that drainage problem along there. So that's all we can do.
May I ask a question? Are they gonna level it out? Because part of the road from south to north, if you're going north, you go brick, and then it comes down, and then it comes up. Are they leveling that out?
Oh, I think they are. From what I heard, that first pass is going to be basically to level it out, and then they're going to come through and pave it in sections before they do that.
Thank you.
Okay? I took part in the school proclamation of a retired library teacher on June 5th. That was pretty exciting. It was for Mrs. Jetty. We are moving along with the budget, and we should have another workshop here, hopefully lined up. I texted Robert tonight, but he didn't get back to me before the meeting. And if he's good with it, then Janelle will post it for next week also for a budget workshop. Town cleanup continues, and Matt and Jeff are cleaning the streets as we speak. And I'd also like to point out that these two employees, they are hard workers. They're the junior employees. You ask them to do anything, they're there. I mean, I'm so proud of those kids. I mean, they're out there right now. They want to do it. They want to clean up. They want to change meters. I mean, people think that they're driving around together, but they're getting a lot of stuff done. And me observing that, being working down there and working around them, I can see that. So if any of you see those two employees out there, please stop them and say, hey, thank you for your work, because those two young employees are really hard at it. They're going all day long. And we're shorthanded. Mr. Lester, he mows our lawn, but he's on vacation, so they've been filling in for that. Those two are basically hands-on. They did the pool by themselves, got that up and running. So I mean, and they're learning too, but I'm really proud of those young men. We also, Gina's getting them set up with an apprentice program to get their wastewater, going there so they can get their license. It's a 2-year apprentice program. It's paid for by the rural water system. We don't have to pay for that. They pay for their books, they pay for their schooling. So we're getting them going on that. So yeah, there's some exciting things that are going forward as far as and I'll get on to the water billing. Oh, the pool opens on the 17th. The water billing, and with that, I'll turn it over to Gina and Janelle, and I'll let you know what's going on with that. And you're gonna ask for your help.
Yeah, so, we have 170 unread meters still. And, Andrea has been working, all three of us have been working on how we will tackle this. And so, the focus is really to, make sure that when the meters are read and they come in, we're making a list. And there's a list that's created from the system, and the guys will be called in. You need to go check this meter. We need to find out which ones are reading but aren't being captured. We need to find out the ones that are not reading at all. We're putting a list, Andrea's putting a list together to, a lot of these meters are in a basement or behind a washing machine or something like that. So we're trying to find these locations and really narrow it down so that we can like, get with these homeowners and say, look, you either gotta move the boxes out of the way, you've gotta make sure that we can read your meters. We'll put notes on the doors. If you can't read their meters, hey, can we come back tomorrow? Or whenever, please call town hall and kind of figure that out. So we're really trying to put something together to make sure that we can get all these meters read, and figure it out. We also, have a little bit of extra money. We don't know until the Mission Street is done, kind of where we are. We might have some extra money to put in some meter pits on Pine Street. And so, we won't know about that until the project gets a little bit later down the road, where we are sitting with the money. But it's definitely on our radar. We definitely want to get it fixed because it's been going on way, way, way too long. So.
The BDS part.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, we've already mentioned that before, but yeah, I was talking about the BDS part,
yeah.
about
Sorry.
going around on the doorknobs, putting on, and
Yeah, so
We're
we are
changing
gonna
over.
be changing to a new, we're moving away from billing, document solutions, on how we pay our water bills. And so we're working with, Black Mountain, which is our software company. They have created what is called Bill Pay. It's through a company called Nuvei. We're gonna be putting some FAQs together, and we're gonna be taking them to each one of the doors, so that everybody gets a list. This is what we're moving to on August 1st. This is how you can pay your bill. This is the new way you can pay your bill. It's really gonna help us, in the office where we have real time, live data on when the bills are paid, because right now, trying to reconcile the bank statements with the way things are going is just a nightmare. So they say that this is going to be better, and I'm hoping that it will, because if not, wow, it's gonna be tough.
But we're saving how much money going this way, getting away from PDFs?
Well, you know, that's kind of hard to say right now.
Because of postage?
Because we're, right now, as of June 1st, it's June, so July 1st, we're going to be taking the printing back in-house. Because it's costing us about $1,600 a month just to send our water bills. And it's just so expensive. So we're really trying to, figure out a way to, cut some costs and make things better. We will be sending out electronic statements for those people who want to sign up. Obviously, that will help a lot with stamps and postage, because the post office, I mean, I know when sometimes we get our water bills in from people who will send their payments on the 10th, and we won't even get them until the 30th. So it's late. So just trying to figure out some ways that are going to make it easier for people to pay their bills and get their bills on time. So.
And then you want me to kind of tag on to that with the CCR?
Yes, you go ahead and tag on about the DEQ notice.
So in the same time that the information about the new billing and the way to pay our water bills, there will be a CCR report. That is an annual report that DEQ helps us put together. No, excuse me, not DEQ. I just lost their name. I can see it at the top of their deal. Mountain Water.
Rural?
That helps us with that, yes. And so we yearly have to get that report out, and to save on the expense of mailing 911 of those out, along with posting that or posting that in the newspaper. It's 5 pages long, the report is. So those pages are going to then be printed in-house in a hang bag with the same time the information about the new billing system. And those will be hand delivered. Save us right about $1,200 by doing it this round.
So what I'm asking the council is, how would you feel walking your wards? You wouldn't have to knock on doors, you just put them on the door knob.
Doesn't matter to me.
We could have them ready, you can come up pick up and for you, because if you're liking that, I could
Walk all the time, if you did not follow that 2-year-old around,
keep on preaching, whatever it takes. We could save a lot of money doing that.
We'll have them prepared all next week, and then June 24th is when we like to start that, because everyone has to receive them legally by June 30th. So it does give us a good amount of time there, 5-6 days to get those out.
Well, there you go.
So
We'll have to look at, some of those, yeah, we'll have to look at times too, because.
Oh, of course.
I'm not available for. I mean, it's a great idea, I mean, it's.
Yeah. And it's not an election year, so you don't have to knock on the door.
What happens when we come to a yard
We
that's
do
all
have
fenced in?
some gates,
Put on the fence.
there are some gates that you don't go through.
Well, that's common sense there.
what do you do though?
Okay,
Leave it on the gates.
can I entertain a motion
Yes, adjourn.
to adjourn?
I second that.
A motion, we have a second, aye?
Aye.
That was fun.